I wondered if you could possibly give me a brief explanation about what your organisation does and how it serves women and technology.
Well, NCWIT it stands for the National Center for Women in Information Technology. It's quite a mouthful for an acronym.
Yeah.
And we're a fairly young organization. We're a little over 6 years old, and we were founded by several organizations as well as the National Science Foundation to look thoughtfully and purposefully at women's declining participation in computing. So this is a full pipeline problem, I think, as you know.
Yes.
And perhaps many of the listeners know that, girls are not taking computing in high school in large numbers. They're not enrolled in post-secondary programs. They leave the technical workforce at a staggering rate by mid-career, and they start less than 5% of all IT companies. So we have an issue. NCWIT was founded to look into that issue. We are an organization of organizations, so we have over 250 universities, corporations, and nonprofits at our side working on this across the country.
Great.
We do research and statistics, and we also have large national awareness campaigns to make sure that people understand this issue and how alarming it is, not only for equity purposes. Of course, we all know that's important, but for innovation. I think we should all be concerned that women are not helping to invent in any large numbers the technology upon which our world depends, and that's sometimes a shocking observation.
Yes, and on that point, has your organisation identified what are the main reasons that are holding women or girls back from studying the technical subjects?
Well, like a lot of complex problems, there's no one answer, right? It's sort of a number of things. And let's just say this. I think first of all, young people, both boys and girls, are not exposed to computing in any real rigorous way in K-12. We have a growing problem in terms of instruction here in the U.S., if it's even offered in a high school, if it counts towards graduation. And so it's really hard to interest more girls in computing when it's really not being taught much across the United States. Right. We also have a curriculum problem when we do teach it, and I'm a computer scientist, and so I say this with great love in my heart.
Yes.
We need to make it more relevant and more exciting to young people today and make sure that they see the whole creativity of study in this area. And, by the time women either choose an academic or a corporate career or perhaps an entrepreneurial career, by and large, they are in a minority, not just a small minority, but a very small minority. And so our research scientists would say that's when odd cultural things start to take effect.
Right. And so I gather then this is your mission to encourage women and young girls to find this more exciting area.
Well, that's part of it. We have our mission really it divides into, we have a curricular mission, we have an awareness mission,
okay.
We have a research and a statistics mission, and quite frankly, we have a capacity building mission with corporations and universities, working with them on how they can change their culture so that those who are not in the majority sort of group, if you will, are particularly innovative and contributing.
Brilliant. Do you have any figures about the percentages of women in technology compared to men?
Well, yes, we have quite a few, and I can refer people to the NCWIT website. But let
okay.
me if you, off the top of my head, these may not be exactly right.
Yep.
To the digit.
Yep.
But this is what I carry around in my head. If you look at high school, girls taking the computer science advanced placement test, it's roughly 16 or 17% of those test takers are girls.
Right.
So that is, I think, if I remember my College Board statistics correctly, that's probably got the worst gender gap of any AP test that offer. If you look at post-secondary degrees, 4-year degree programs across the nation, especially the research institutions, you're going to see about 12% of the degrees, 12 to 13% of those degrees going to women.
Okay.
And then the workforce as a whole, the IT workforce as a whole, it's roughly 22 to 25% women. And then let me just say this, that I think those statistics tell part of the story, but there are a few others I would like to share with you. The first being that women leave the technology workforce at about 56% by mid-career. So
Wow.
that's a pretty staggering figure. When we do get them out there, the attrition rate is pretty high. And contrary to popular belief, a large number of them are not staying home to raise children.
Oh, okay.
Doesn't mean they're not having children.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And also in terms of the innovation role, so let's take the workforce separately for a moment and let's kind of dig into, sort of the creative innovation roles in computing. For example, who has inventions, who's patenting, who's in the lead architect roles. And by the way, I think CNN today just said software architect was the top job in America.
Wow.
I'm sad to say that we don't have many women there.
Okay.
Who are R&D vice presidents? Who are the architects? Who are the people who are doing the lead creative work? And women are roughly in those positions, if you will, at a rate of about 5%.
Wow.
And so those are pretty shocking numbers.
Yeah.
And the one last thing that got National Science Foundation's attention was that women's participation has been declining since the mid-80s.
Yes, I noticed that in that TechCrunch article today. They were mentioning that. It's very sad. I guess you've got your mission cut out for you then.
Well, I will say that I see light at the end of the tunnel. We have a lot of good-hearted people who are trying hard in their organizations.
Fantastic.
To really do something.
Fantastic. So many say that it helps a woman entrepreneur's position if she's technical when sourcing venture capital. And I guess that's another thing that you can add to the pluses of being a technical female. And do you know any percentages on that compared to non-technical women entrepreneurs at all? Or have you had any feedback from your members about, how that sits if they are technical, that they get good feedback from VCs or anything like that?
Well, I think what I have is only supposition on my part.
Okay.
First of all, I have a bias that being technical helps everybody.
Yeah. Here.
Of course, I'm a computer scientist, so there you go.
I
think we should be in charge of everything.
Exactly.
Why not? And I would suppose that being technical, if you're starting a technical company and there's only one or two of you, right, taking that company down the road, it would probably be helpful. But here in Boulder, we have a lot of entrepreneurial activity, and I've been around Silicon Valley a while too, and somewhat in Boston, and I see a whole bunch of people starting tech companies that aren't technical.
Yes.
And most of them are men. Mm-hmm. And I think, so I think there's probably is an advantage. I don't have any data one way or the other on it.
Okay. Certainly, I'm a technical, non-technical founder, when I had my business, and I think the passion and love of technology carried me through. But obviously, if you've got a technical partner, a co-founder, that helps with VCs, I think. Have you found that some successful women deny that there are challenges or obstacles for women entrepreneurs? If they've achieved success, they don't want to note that there's anything broken in the system or that there ever was a glass ceiling. I ask this question because I have heard that both some women CEOs and women venture capitalists take this position.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not surprised to hear you say that. I think that it's not uncommon. Oftentimes, if you really struggled one way or the other, you may deny that there was an issue. But I don't really think it's a conversation worth having, if you will, because we know the data. We know the data show that women are not starting technical companies. There's no question. And facts are our friends, right?
Yeah.
And now, why is that? Well, I don't think we know. And here's a stat that you all may find interesting.
Yep.
We set out to do some early research in this area of women and tech entrepreneurship. And because we've heard all the anecdotes, just like everybody who's looking at this interview, they've heard the anecdotes, they've seen probably panels where people are disagreeing and they're just, sort of binary, it's either off or on, right? About this. So we went and did a literature review, really searched the whole body of knowledge, if you will, officially. A researcher did all of this with the search words of entrepreneur, women, technology, information technology, whatever, right?
Yep.
Found 3 total research papers.
Oh, wow. Wow. That's astounding.
And so the data are not there, if you will. Yeah. And I think I'm trying to use data in plural because now I'm at a university, but my natural tendency is to say data in a singular sense. So anyway, the data is not there, and so therefore I think what people have are opinions.
Right.
And are they valuable? Sure. But are they contextualized? Yes.
Right.
They're contextualized to their personal path, to their personal challenges, and to their personal benefits, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And so I've heard some people say, well, it wasn't hard for me. And perhaps if you look at their support system or whatever else they had some natural advantages. Right. I've also heard some women say, well, those mean VCs, they didn't give me any money, but heck, maybe I wouldn't have given them any money either. So I just feel like we need to dig in, we need to accept the data, and we need to see what we can do if we care about this issue.
Yeah, well, that's very thoughtful response. Thank you very much. In a recent interview I did with Cindy Gallup, she has a site called If We Ran the World, she quoted Madeleine Albright, "There's a special place reserved in hell for women who do not help other women." Could you, I love it, could you elaborate ways that women entrepreneurs can support each other?
Oh, well, sure. And, I think that I'm going to maybe broaden this a bit to, women supporting technical women. Yes, yep, that'd be great. Sorry. Or encouraging technical girls to be technical, right?
Yes, yep, that'd be great.
We know from a research perspective in populations where one group is significantly overrepresented, that encouragement, often simple acts of well-deserved encouragement. Okay, so I am not advocating, being fake here, right?
Yes, yeah.
But well-deserved encouragement help bring more women into these areas. So, for example, encouraging a girl to take a computing class and then helping to mentor her, understanding that, at least in high school, she may be the only one in her class or her school who is taking such a class, right?
Wow.
And also this research paper that was just mentioned in the TechCrunch article, one of the significant findings the most significant finding was that there was very little difference between male and female tech entrepreneurs. The one difference that was even, statistically significant was that women were more likely to become entrepreneurs than men if they were asked in or if they were encouraged.
Wow. Yes, I saw that. It was brilliant. Well, thank you so much. That's really helpful. So would you have any advice for women entrepreneurs sourcing venture capital from your experience? I know that you deal mainly with technical women, but there are obviously, hopefully, a lot of technical women that are interested in being entrepreneurs. Would you have any advice at all?
Well, we do see a number of women tech entrepreneurs because of the work that we do, and I'm on a few advisory boards for venture funds, helping to source technical ideas and so forth. And I think there's common wisdom that applies.
Yes.
First of all, you need to really have a great idea.
Yeah.
You have to be able to pitch your idea. You have to be, have a great sense of how it's going to make money. What's the exit strategy for the VC? You really have to be tight on all of that and to go get some coaching. There are a number of good groups out there that can help you. There are a lot of well-hearted VCs and other entrepreneurs that it's a great network where you can reach out and get advice and get introductions and so forth. So I think for women, it's especially necessary to just be on top of that game and have it exactly right before you go pitch to a VC. The other thing I think is probably true, although, I mean, I personally have, never pitched to a VC.
Yes.
Found it, is that you don't want to go too soon. I mean,
Right.
you need to understand the steps of capitalization. When can you bootstrap? When should you really be going after angel investing? What about friends and family? What about NSF SBIR grant? We have a podcast series where we talk to women who have started IT companies, and they have started their companies in so many different ways.
Right. Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Lucy. I know that you're incredibly busy and you've got a lot on your plate, so I do appreciate that you've given this time to this project.
Well, my pleasure, and thank you for your interest, and everybody who watches this. Thanks for your interest in the issues. Very, very important to future innovation.
Thank you so much.